Okay, so our objective today, or during this video, is I would calculate the volume of compound shapes using my knowledge of volume, a cylinder, cone, pyramid, and sphere. And to be at a level A, we need to be able to calculate the volume of 2 or more shapes, including hemispheres, which are like half a sphere. Okay, so this is our first example that you're going to write on your notes paper. So when I'm doing this, I look at how many shapes I see. So when I'm looking up here, I see 3 different shapes, and I'm going to number them. I see a cone, I see half of a sphere, a hemisphere, and I see a rectangular prism. So I see 3 different shapes, which means I'm going to have to do 3 different formulas. So I'm going to have to do 3 different problems, pretty much, in order to get my answer. So I'm going to start with the cone, which is 1/3 pi r squared h. All right. So I just plug in my numbers. R is 4 and h is 6. So 1/3 pi 4 squared times 6. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the cone video. I'm going to square the 4 next. So 1/3 pi times 16 times 6. Right, 16 times 6 is 96. So 1/3 pi times 96. Divide 96 by 3 or multiply it by 1/3 and get 32 pi, which is going to equal, once I multiply that out, and we're going to round to the nearest hundredth, is 100.53, and that is rounded to the nearest hundredth. So our first shape is 100.53 yards squared. Cubed, sorry. Okay, so that's shape 1, and I'm going to erase this work because I need to have enough room for my next one. You can keep working on your paper. All right, so then we have shape 2, which is a hemisphere. So what that means is that I automatically need to tell myself that I'm going to have to multiply by a half or divide by 2 at the end. So I'm going to write 1/2. I'm taking 1/2 of my entire answer, okay? And the formula for volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. If you don't put that half there, you will forget it. I've seen many people do it all right and then forget to divide by 2, and then our answer is wrong, okay? Because it's not a whole sphere, it's half of one. So I plug everything in. I'm going to keep that half, keep the 4/3, keep the pi, and then my radius is the same as before. It's that 4 cubed. All right? And then I just keep working. Why did I put a 1/3 out there? That's supposed to be a half. Keep working. So keep the half, keep the 4/3 pi. 4 cubed is 64, I want to say. Yeah, 64. Okay, then I'm going to take 4/3 times 64. 4/3 times 64, and I'm going to get 85.33. All right, then I'm going to multiply by pi. Everything we did in the sphere video to get 1/2 of 268.07, and that is rounded. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take that answer, and you can either multiply it by a half or divide by 2. So I'm going to take that answer, 268.07 divided by 2. And my answer for the hemisphere is 134.035, so it's actually going to be 0.04 yards cubed. Okay, the last one is the easiest one, and it's a prism. And the volume of a prism, which you did not actually learn this year, but you should know it because it's really easy, is length times width times height. So we just take all three of these numbers. We take 12 times 2 times 3, and we get the volume of our prism. So I'm just going to multiply 12 times 2 times 3 and get 72. So my third shape is 72 yards cubed. Okay, and then the last thing I need to do is just add up all three of these shapes because I'm trying to find the entire volume of the whole thing. And so I just add 100.53 plus 134.04 plus 72 to get my final volume, which is the volume of this is equal to 306.57 yards cubed. And that right there is my volume. Okay, we're going to try one more. This time we only have two shapes. We have a cone and we have a rectangular prism. So we're going to start with the cone. Okay, so formula again of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared times h. So we need to plug in what we know. So if we're looking here, if you notice, there isn't actually a radius attached to the cone, okay? But we see that the cone goes across the entire prism that we have. So we need to look at what the diameter is. And if we look down here, this is like across the length of the prism. And so 6 is our diameter. And so if 6 is our diameter, to find the radius, we do the diameter over 2. So we're going to do 6 over 2, which is 3. So 3 is our diameter. Our radius. So 1/3 pi, 3 squared, and then this 8 right here is showing that this is the height. So 1/3 pi, 3 squared is 9 times 8. And then we redo 1/3 pi, 9 times 8 is 72. And then we take that times 1/3 or divided by 3, and we get 24 pi, which is equal to 75.398. All right, the 8 means I round the 9 up to a 10, which means a 3 really becomes a 4. So 78.40. So our first shape is 78.40 inches cubed. Always label. Okay, and then our next shape, again, the rectangular prism is very easy. It's length times width times height. So 11 times 6 times 4. All right, 11 times 6 times 4 is 264. So our second shape is 264 inches cubed. All right. So we just literally add those two numbers together. We have 264 plus 78.40, and my final answer of this entire volume, is 342.40 inches cubed. All right, so you're going to keep working. You're going to do the rest of them. I think there's only 4 more. Maybe. I think there's only 4 more. All right, and show all of your work. Break it down just like I did. Remember, if it is half a sphere, to take the half at the end, divide by 2 at the end. If you have any questions, let me know.